You were introduced to man-made radiation when you had your first chest X-ray. There is another source of radiation that has been harnessed by man and is important to all of us: nuclear energy. Nuclear energy serves as a vital resource in agriculture, medicine, industry, environmental protection, research, and generation of electricity. In agriculture, nuclear technology is improving crop varieties such as rice and ornamental plants. In medicine, radioactive substances such as radiopharmaceuticals are indispensable in the diagnosis and treatment of various diseases. In industry, radiation is being used to improve the qualities of industrial raw materials, products, and processes. Safe, peaceful, productive. This is nuclear technology today. The Philippines entered the nuclear age in 1958 with the creation of the Philippine Atomic Energy Commission. In 1987, it was renamed the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute, or PNRI. It is one of the research and development institutes of the Department of Science and Technology. As the center of all nuclear science and technology activities in the country, the PNRI is mandated to conduct research and development on the applications of radiation and nuclear techniques, materials, and processes, undertake the transfer of research results to end users, operate and maintain nuclear research reactors and other radiation facilities, and license and regulate the possession and application of all nuclear and radioactive substances. To meet its objectives, PNRI implements these programs: nuclear research and development, nuclear services, nuclear safety and regulations, and technology diffusion. The Institute's programs in nuclear research and development focus on applications of radiation in agriculture, health, industry, and the environment. Crop improvement studies using radiation sources have produced high-yielding mutant varieties of rice, ornamental plants, and other food crops. Radiation technology has been used to improve the characteristics of adlai, which may serve as a substitute for rice and corn. Scientists use isotope tracer techniques to determine the right amount and proper timing of fertilizer application on food crops. The Institute has developed Plant Growth Promoter, or PGP, from radiation-modified carrageenan for use as plant food supplement. The PGP can increase yield of rice by more than 20% and make the plants more resistant to blight and infestations. Radiation is used to control the population of various pests that damage agricultural crops. The sterile insect technique, or SIT, has been used against fruit flies that infest export fruits like mangoes. The PNRI also applies SIT to help mitigate the perennial dengue problem in the Philippines. Researchers developed a radiation-based quarantine treatment against the mango pulp weevil, which finally allows more Philippine mango exports to enter into the United States. PNRI studies have shown that food irradiation can prolong the shelf life of agricultural products, disinfest grains and export fruits, and reduce or destroy microorganisms in food commodities. In medicine, the Institute established a facility for the local production of technetium-99m, the most commonly used medical radioisotope in the country. The PNRI has developed hydrogels from carrageenan and polyvinyl pyrrolidone. These hydrogels can be used as dressing for burns, wounds, and bed sores. Another type of dressing for wounds was developed by researchers from local honey sources. Researchers formulated hemostats to reduce or stop the bleeding in wounds or skin openings from military or civilian trauma. Nuclear techniques such as receptor binding assay are also useful in the management of red tide or harmful algal blooms. Radiation techniques are being used in industries to find defects of internal components and structures without interrupting normal plant operations. The Institute develops nuclear techniques for characterizing materials which are important to the academic and industrial sectors. As part of PNRI's radiation protection activities, researchers monitor natural and man-made radioactivity in the environment and establishes real-time environmental monitoring systems in the Philippines. As the national focal point for the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization, the Institute operates a radionuclide monitoring station in Tanay, Rizal. The PNRI applies nuclear analytical techniques as tools to identify major sources of air pollution and to estimate the contribution of these sources for better air quality management. Isotope and chemical techniques are used to analyze freshwater systems for better management of water resources. To widen the application of nuclear technology, the Institute extends nuclear and allied services to various sectors. The Multipurpose Irradiation Facility, Electron Beam Irradiation Facility, and the Gamma Cell 220 are the facilities used in providing irradiation services. The Multipurpose Irradiation Facility operates on a semi-commercial scale for microbial decontamination, shelf life extension, sterilization, and for research applications. The Electron Beam Irradiation Facility is intended for research and development and for semi-commercial services. The Gamma Cell 220 is used for small volumes of samples requiring low radiation doses. Radiation protection services are extended to licensed users of ionizing radiation. This is to ensure that exposure of workers to radiation are monitored and controlled. The Institute operates and maintains a Secondary Standards Dosimetry Laboratory, or SSDL, to ensure accurate and traceable radiation measurements. The PNRI operates the only centralized radioactive waste management facility for low and intermediate level radioactive wastes in the country. This provides for the treatment and temporary storage of disused radioactive sources and other waste packages for future transfer to a final repository site. For multi-element analysis of various products and for certification of compliance of food experts to non-radioactivity standards, clients may avail of PNRI's nuclear-based analytical services. Radiation monitoring and detection instruments. These can be fabricated and repaired by highly skilled PNRI technicians. Human chromosomes can be analyzed at the Institute's Cytogenetics Laboratory to assess possible exposure of radiation workers and to detect abnormalities or genetic disorders. Nuclear safety and regulations is another major program of PNRI. To ensure safety and security of nuclear and radioactive materials, the Institute develops regulations, administrative orders, guides, and bulletins for licensed facilities and activities. Licenses for radioactive material and facilities are issued for the authority to use, own, and transfer of radioactive materials. The PNRI conducts inspection and audit of licensed radioactive material users and facilities to verify and monitor licensees' compliance with the law, regulations, and the conditions of the license issue. The Institute also coordinates with various government agencies to prevent diversion, theft, and sabotage involving nuclear and other radioactive materials. PNRI continues to build the capability of the country to respond in the event of a radiation-related emergency through the National Radiological Emergency Preparedness and Response Plan. Thousands of Filipinos have become aware of the beneficial uses of nuclear science and technology through the Institute's information, education, and technology transfer activities. These include nuclear awareness seminars, guided tours of PNRI facilities, S&T fairs and exhibitions, media publicity, and library services. The Institute participates in an educational outreach program in the Asia-Pacific region to bring nuclear science to high school classrooms. The Nuclear Training Center conducts training courses on nuclear science and technology, radiation safety, and non-destructive testing for various sectors. The Institute also offers theses and research advisorship and on-the-job training for students and researchers. For the commercialization of research outputs, the Institute conducts technology transfer activities and provides innovation management services for intellectual property protection. Local linkages and collaborations are made by PNRI with other government agencies and scientific institutions, the academe, and the private sectors to enhance the Institute's nuclear capability. On an international level, the PNRI serves as the link between the International Atomic Energy Agency, or IAEA, and government and private entities using nuclear technology. The Institute also has cooperative agreements on nuclear technology with other international organizations. By committing itself to the advancement of nuclear science and technology, the PNRI has forged the peaceful applications of nuclear technology into an exciting and potent tool for national development. Its priority projects have shown that nuclear technology has always been our ally, quietly advancing agriculture, medicine, and industry, and that a better public understanding of its nature and potentials for development can put this nation on the fast lane towards industrialization. With its untiring efforts and exacting leadership, the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute has proven that nuclear technology can work for each Filipino, giving him a better quality of life now and the years to come.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the virtual launching of Education Resource Materials on Nuclear Science and Technology. This event is one of the activities under the PNRI's Nuclear Science and Technology Education Program and the project entitled Development of Instructional and or Educational Resource Materials on Nuclear Science and Technology funded by the Department of Energy. I am Una Neri, a science research specialist from DOST Philippine Nuclear Research Institute, and I will be your MC for today's virtual event. Thank you to everyone who are joining us virtually via Zoom and Facebook Live. We hope that everyone is safe and healthy. We would like to acknowledge the presence of the following: Secretary Fortunato T. de la Peña from the Department of Science and Technology, Director Carlo A. Arcilla of the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute, Mr. Pacifico A. Avenido Jr., Director for Administrative Services of the Department of Energy, Ms. Maria Cecilia P. Baldos from the Department of Energy, Dr. Jessamine O. Yazon from the Philippine Science High School System, Mr. Joseph Gutierrez from the Department of Education Central Office, Ms. Maika Pacheco from the Department of Education National Capital Region, as well as officials and employees from the Department of Science and Technology, the DOST Philippine Nuclear Research Institute, the DOST Science Education Institute, the DOST Philippine Science High School, the Department of Energy, and the Department of Education. We would also like to acknowledge the presence of all the authors, reviewers, and editors who worked hard to prepare the booklets, modules, and videos that were created under this project. Good morning po sa inyong lahat. Before we begin, may I give an overview of the program for this morning's virtual launch. The program will also be flashed on your screens. We will begin with the opening remarks to be given by Dr. Carlo A. Arcilla, Director of the DOST Philippine Nuclear Research Institute. We will then hear messages from Secretary Alfonso Cusi of the Department of Energy, Yusek Diosdado San Antonio of the Department of Education, and Secretary Fortunato T. de la Peña of the Department of Science and Technology. We will hear an overview on the DOE-PNRI project, Development of Instructional or Educational Materials on Nuclear Science and Technology, from Ms. Maria Cecilia P. Baldos of the Department of Energy. And finally, we will learn more about the DOE-PNRI project, as well as how to access the booklets and videos from the project leader, Dr. Jasmine Albelda of DOST Philippine Nuclear Research Institute. We hope that you can stay until the end of the program. Now, to formally begin our program, let us give a warm welcome to PNRI Director Dr. Carlo A. Arcilla, who will give the opening remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning to all the attendees to the launching of the Educational Resource Materials on Nuclear Science and Technology. Thank you, Una, for the introduction. I am very, very happy that in this time of pandemic, DOE and PNRI actually got together to do this launching, which has been delayed. And it's important for us to understand the value of nuclear in our society. The biggest obstacle to the appreciation of nuclear is ignorance of nuclear applications. Typically, when you ask people about nuclear, ang nasa isip, bomb or radiation, etc. And this goes all the way from actually very educated people to even people who are very young. In actuality, as we will show you, nuclear has been beneficial to the whole world and actually to not just in energy but in many in many areas. I'll just cite a few examples of this. 10% of the world's energy this time is due to nuclear energy, which is the cleanest source of energy. It has zero emissions, and without nuclear energy, the world's targets for carbon uh, for carbon decrease will not be achieved. As simple as that. And and last year, our president signed an executive order creating the nuclear energy program implementing uh, nuclear energy program interagency committee, NEPIAC, headed by DOE, and PNRI and DOST are members of this to study the inclusion of nuclear energy in our energy mix. And we have done a report and we submitted the proposal to the president last December. But an important finding of this committee is the need to educate people on nuclear science and technology. And I'm very thankful for my staff here at PNRI and for DOE for having been partners and given resources for this, because we are doing the first steps in educating our students, teachers on nuclear science and technology. Um, Emphasizing things on radiation, that not all radiation is harmful, the distinction between ionizing radiation and other forms of radiation, and many, many applications of nuclear in the environment, industry, agriculture, health. Uh, I'd like to highlight our just one or two applications that we have been very active at PNRI. The first is our production of the plant growth promoter from Karajinan, which was discovered by our scientists, and I would say to the audience, mostly female scientists. Many of our nuclear scientists here at PNRI are female. So we are actually a female-dominated institute, and I'm very happy with that. No? This PGP growth promoter increases rice yield by 20%. It's a game changer in agriculture. Another project that we want to pursue is our nuclear medicine cancer diagnosis and staging center, construction of which has started. You know, COVID has killed about 16,000 Filipinos, but what we don't know and maybe forget is 70,000 Filipinos die every year of cancer because they are diagnosed late. And the best way to stage and diagnose cancer is through nuclear medicine, especially in the use of radioisotopes, FDG. And we will have a cancer staging facility, God willing, and DBM willing, in the next few years here at PNRI, which hopefully will impact the poorest segments of the population that have cancer. Anyway, uh, so talking about nuclear power too, it's the cheapest, and let's hope that there will be a resurrection of our nuclear power program. But in order to overcome the huge obstacles of misunderstanding, we need to educate people from K to 12, including teachers. That's why I'm so thankful to the DOE for helping us fund this. And I've been with them in some of our seminars. I see Andy Manga here, happily retired. But, we have been across the islands, and the reception for nuclear science has been very good. Actually, better for the students than for professionals. So, on behalf of my colleagues here at PNRI, I'm so proud of them. Again, thank you, DOE, for funding this. And finally, our project has been fruitful. God bless us all. Let us keep safe. And God bless our country and the Philippines.
Thank you for those great opening remarks, Dr. Arcilia. In line with DOST-PNRI's mandate, this project will definitely show secondary school students how nuclear science and technology works for the Filipino people, as shown by the Karajinan Plant Growth Promoter and the future Nuclear Medicine and Cancer Diagnosis Center. Before we move on to the next part of the program, may we also acknowledge the presence of Ms. Angelina V. Manga, former Director for Administrative Services of the Department of Energy, Ms. Ana Elena Conjares, Division Chief for Technology Diffusion of the DOST-Philippine Nuclear Research Institute, and Ms. Justina Cervolles, former Information Officer and member of the project team from DOST-PNRI. Good morning po. So now we will hear a message from the DOE Secretary. Let us give a warm welcome to DOE Secretary Alfonso Cusi.
The Department of Energy is happy to launch this joint project with the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute on the development of nuclear science technology or NST materials for secondary education teachers and students. When the International Atomic Energy Agency conducted its Integrated Nuclear Infrastructure Review for the Philippines in 2018, they identified human resource development as one of the 19 infrastructure gaps that the country needs to address before it could embark on a nuclear energy program. During the first review, the IAEA recommended that the DOE Nuclear Energy Program Implementing Organization develop an HRD plan to, among others, enhance national education and training infrastructure and ensure the availability of trained manpower for the NEPU, nuclear authorities and utilities, and nuclear power plant operations. Hence, through our NEPU Human Resource Technical Working Group, we decided to develop this project in 2019, also as part of our efforts to promote nuclear energy awareness and improve public perception on the acceptance of the subject. Even in today's information age, misconceptions still abound when it comes to nuclear energy utilization. Here in the Philippines, the Bataan Nuclear Power Plant had unfortunately been demonized into dormancy. In my opinion, had we been able to seize the opportunity to operate the BNPP, our present economic landscape would probably resemble those of our more industrialized neighbors like South Korea, countries that were able to pursue nuclear power programs despite the socio-economic challenges of those times. Nevertheless, nothing is ever too late in the name of progress. Among the lessons this COVID-19 pandemic revealed to us is the urgent need to attain energy security. And I believe that the Philippines would have a lot to gain if we are able to integrate nuclear energy into our country's energy mix. Ultimately, however, the decision to go nuclear or not would entail national consensus, including strong acceptance from the public. Of course, the first and most effective way for us to get broader support is through education. I am really pleased that this project will allow us to bring the basic of nuclear science technology to our secondary education students through their science teachers. I'm optimistic that through the project's 10 booklets, 10 videos, and 5 modules covering the various aspects of NST, our youth will gain unbiased knowledge that would serve as a strong foundation before they proceed to higher levels of learning. Again, this project is one of the initial steps taken by the NEPU HR-TWG to broaden public awareness, particularly in encouraging young Filipinos to explore the lucrative career paths awaiting them in the nuclear science technology sector. We always say that today's youth will become tomorrow's leaders. Thus, we must do everything we can to help them succeed in all fields, most especially in those that would greatly impact the future of generations to come. Maraming salamat po at patuloy po nating pangalagaan ang ating kaligtasan at kalusugan. Mabuhay!
Thank you, Secretary Alfonso Cusi. Today's youth are indeed the future leaders of our country, and these resource materials will help correct misconceptions on nuclear S&T and even show them the possible careers that the youth can have in the nuclear industry. May we also acknowledge the presence of Ms. Rodora Leonin, former Supervising Science Research Specialist of the Nuclear Information and Documentation Section of DOST-PNRI. We will now hear a message from the Department of Education. Let us give a warm welcome to the Department of Education Undersecretary for Curriculum and Instruction, Yusek Diosdado San Antonio.
Good morning, everyone. Our greetings to Secretary Alfonso G. Cusi of the Department of Energy, Secretary Fortunato Boy T. de la Peña of the Department of Science and Technology, and to Director Carlo E. Arcilia of the PNRI. It is with great honor and privilege to represent the Office of the Secretary of Education, Professor Emeritus Leonor Liling Magtolis Briones, in this very important virtual gathering in the launching of the Instructional Educational Resource Materials on Nuclear Science and Technology. The resource materials that cover topics on radiation, ionizing radiation and matter, careers in nuclear science and technology, its relevance to environment, industry, health, agriculture, energy, and disaster preparedness, complement our efforts in the Department of Education in providing not only learning resource materials to the schools and learners, but also in cultivating relevant information to advance economic development, peace, and order in the face of the pandemic. For decades now, the world has been thinking of nuclear science and the horrors it can create. We associate it with nuclear weapons that threaten the entire world and our lives. But there is more to the unimaginable disasters that nuclear science can bring us, particularly in the 21st century and in the fourth industrial revolution. It has many uses than its horrors that need to be brought to the attention of the education sector. We can educate our learners on the realities of climate change in the world and how we can exploit nuclear science to solve multifaceted problems brought by it. How do we monitor environmental changes and mitigate greenhouse effects? Simply because climate change poses environmental risks and hazards, changes in weather, health threatening conditions, among others. How can this nuclear science influence to solve the health problems caused by extreme climate change in the countries around the globe, the pandemic included? We can be taught how radiation can help increase people's productivity in agriculture, in protecting the crops from infestation of pests, in inducing growth of vegetables, and in increasing the agricultural produce in a year's time. How can this teach us to survive the challenge of food security in the face of a continuing battle against COVID-19? How can this help us sustain our community pantries to help people fight not only the pandemic, but poverty and hunger? Therefore, production and post-production activities and facilities can be developed to sustain agricultural development, particularly for a basically agro-industrial country like ours. What do this mean to our farmers and our agricultural tourism sector? The Department of Education, through the Office of the Curriculum, Undersecretary for Curriculum and Instruction, hails this Department of Science and Technology, Philippine Nuclear Research Institute for helping us promote quality, relevant, accessible, and liberating education. With these learning resources for our schools and learners, we will realize a peaceful application of nuclear science and technology, and a peaceful means of advancing agro-industrial and socio-economic development in this country and in the entire volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world we are facing. Together, we care to face the challenges and the changes in learning continuity for our Filipino children. Thank you very much po. And mabuhay. God bless.
Thank you, USEC San Antonio. The accessible and downloadable resource materials will surely help high school students learn about the peaceful applications of nuclear science and technology in agriculture, industry, and the environment. Now we will hear a message from the Department of Science and Technology. Let us give a warm welcome to DOST Secretary Fortunato D. Telapena.
Magandang umaga sa lahat at mainit na pagbati sa ating mga kasama, ating mga bisita. Of course, ay napakinggan ko ang napakagagandang messages ni Secretary Alfonso Cusi ng Department of Energy at ang mensahe ng ating Department of Education Secretary through USEC Diosdado San Antonio ng DepEd. At sa ating mga iba pang mga bisita, nandiriyan si Ms. Cecil Baldos ng Department of Energy, ang ating Director ng Philippine Science High School, si Director Habacon, Lilia, si Director Joseph Bio ng Science Education Institute, at ang iba pa nating mga kasama, at siyempre ang pinuno ng Philippine Nuclear Research Institute, si Dr. Carlo Arcilia. Gusto kong ipaabot ang aking appreciation sa initiative na ito na ginawa ng ating Department of Energy kasama ang Department of Education at naging reality sa pamamagitan ng pag-develop ng mga materials mula sa ating Philippine Nuclear Research Institute. Bagamat tayo ay nasa Zoom lamang, I feel the warmth of the partnership, the cooperation that we have undertaken. Hindi lang naman dahil sa gusto nating magdagdag ng pag-aaralan ng mga bata, kung hindi talagang napapanahon, at wala akong natatandaan sa buong buhay ko na napag-aralan ko ng medyo seryoso ang nuclear science and technology sa aking basic education. Kahit nga doon sa kurso kong chemical engineering, hindi naman namin pinag-aralan masyado. Sa physics, meron kaming pinag-aralan tungkol sa nuclear energy. Pero kulang na kulang. Kaya itong pagdadagdag natin na ito sa ating basic education curriculum ay napapanahon. At tamang-tama lang kasi gaya nga ng binanggit ni ating kalihim Alfonso Cusi, ay dapat nang maintindihan ng ating mga kababayan ang nuclear science at technology at ang kanyang mga applications mula sa agrikultura, sa medisina, sa industriya, sa environment at sa energy. At kaya nga yan ay sinulong ni Secretary Cusi ay dahil din sa isang executive order na pinirmahan ng ating Pangulo noong nakaraang taon, Executive Order 116, na kung saan ay gustong magkaroon ng rekomendasyon sa sasali ng nuclear power sa ating energy mix. At ang interagency committee po na nagtatrabaho dyan ay pinamumunuan ng Department of Energy at ang Department of Science and Technology ang vice chair. Sabi nga nila para ang ating mga policy ay maging science-based. So, natatandaan ko pa siguro mga 3 taon na ang nakararaan ay nagpirmahan din kami ng DepEd at ang kapirmahan namin ay yung Director General ng IAEA, si Director General Amano, may he rest in peace, pumano na siya. Pero yun ay pirmahan namin para magkaroon ng pilot schools na kung saan ituturo ang nuclear science and technology. Kung hindi ako nagkakamali, dyan sa may Quezon City High School ba yun? Science High School or Francisco High School dito sa malapit sa Shoemart, ano? SM North. At alam ko na yan ay na-implement naman pero hanggang pilot lang. Pero ito ngayon ay maganda kasi magiging daan para maisama sa curriculum ng ating basic education. At alam naman natin, napakahalaga ng education for creating awareness. Ano? Napakarami nating, sabihin na nating hindi tamang perception tungkol sa nuclear science and technology kasi nga ang mga naririnig lang natin ay yung balita na nagkaroon ng ganito aksidente, yung ating history na binomba ang Hiroshima at iba pang mga aksidente na yun ang natatanim sa isip natin pero hindi natin nalalaman kung ano ang nagagawa ng nuclear science and technology. Hindi lamang sa energy, kundi technology, hindi lamang sa energy, kundi sa mga nabanggit kong fields or areas. At ang siyempre ang susi dito sa tagumpay natin ay ating mga guro. Kasi sila din ang mag-guide sa ating mga estudyante. Malaking bagay yung mga materials na dinevelop natin, pero siyempre ang pag-convey, pag-deliver at ang pagsisiguro na ito ay naintindihan at na-absorb ng ating mga estudyante ay napakahalaga. Kaya aking binibigyan ng importansya ang role ng ating mga teachers para dito. Kaya siguro bilang pagwawakas, tamang-tama, kahapon nakatanggap po ako ng isang maiksing liham. Ano? At ito ay galing sa dating Prime Minister Cesar Virata. Magkakilala po kami dahil kami ay active sa aming UP Engineering Research and Development Foundation. Yun po foundation ng mga UP College of Engineering alumni na pareho po kaming foundation members. At babasahin ko lang itong kanyang maikling liham na natanggap ko kahapon, dated April 30, kasi relevant po ito. Sabi niya, Dear Secretary de la Peña, binura pa niya yung Secretary de la Peña, ginagay niya ng boy. Dear boy, lately I have been interested in the revival of the Bataan Nuclear Power Plant as a step towards replacing our coal and other fossil power plants to remove the carbon dioxide emissions. While solar and wind power can contribute to the energy supply, they are unreliable for manufacturing requirements. I have listened to Dr. Carlo Arcilia's briefing and also to Marco Huangco's studies and advocacy. I really believe that we need nuclear power plants for our energy requirements. I also had a trial subscription of NUCNet to give me an idea of the current developments. In 2 months, I learned which counties are building new nuclear power plants. Even Hainan is going to have a small modular reactor, 125 megawatts. United Arab Emirates just operated their first nuclear power plant. India signed up with the French for 5 or 6 power plants. I wish the Department of Science and Technology should subscribe to NUCNet to be abreast with all developments. Mr. Secretary, Mr. Boy, ano na yun, ano na lang ito, parang palamuti. You are doing well and I hope your legacy will be continued. Keep healthy and safe. Yours truly, Cesar Virata. So, kaya ko ito binasa, maganda yung rekomendasyon niya. Sabi, I hope, okay, DOST, I wish DOST could subscribe to NUCNet to be abreast with all development. So siguro tatanong ko lang sa PNRI, meron ba tayong subscription dyan sa NUCNet, no? At ito yung binanggit ni former Prime Minister Cesar Virata. And so dito ko nawawakasan ang aking message. I am really impressed with the accomplishment that we have in developing these modules and teaching materials. At ako ay naman ay napaka-confident na ito ay mai-implement ng maayos sa tulong, suporta ng ating Department of Education at nagpapasalamat din ako sa Department of Energy for initiating this move. So, congratulations sa lahat ng involved At muli ay magandang umaga sa inyong lahat.
Thank you so much, Secretary De La Peña. This collaborative effort of the DOST, the Department of Energy, and the Department of Education is indeed a great way to introduce nuclear science and technology to the youth and provide more information on all its peaceful and beneficial applications. I will definitely ask about that NucNet subscription as well. Now, to give us an overview of the DOE-PNRI project, development of instructional or educational resource materials on nuclear science and technology, let us give a warm welcome and a virtual round of applause to Ms. Maria Cecilia P. Baldos, Chief Administrative Officer of the Human Resource Management Division of the Department of Energy.
Good morning, everyone. In 2019, the Department of Energy and the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute already embarked on a project called Development of Instructional Educational Materials on Nuclear Science and Technology for secondary students and science teachers with a project cost of 2 million pesos. The project aims to make available to both the faculty and students instructional materials which will aid in promoting awareness on nuclear energy and improve public perception and acceptance while changing the wrong notions and misconceptions on the use of nuclear energy. Specifically, the objective of the project is to increase the knowledge and understanding of students and science educators on nuclear science and technology through the development and dissemination of developed resource materials and modules. These modules are designed to educate the target readers and audience on the basic facts and benefits of nuclear science and technology in various areas. The outputs of this project include 10 types of booklets covering various topics in NST, 10 instructional materials in video format, and 5 modules to be installed in the Science Explorer bus of the Department of Science and Technology Science Education Institute. This undertaking is among the initial steps taken by the Nuclear Energy Program Implementing Organization, or NEPIO, Human Resource Technical Working Group in the DOE, towards achieving our end of promoting public awareness on nuclear energy and steering the interests of the youth along this direction and making them aware of gainful employment that await those interested to pursue professions along this line. Such careers will hopefully not only translate to making them professionally successful, but also address a more noble objective of serving our country in the long term and making the lives of the next generation of Filipinos a lot better. I would like to acknowledge and thank the members of the NEPIO Human Resource Technical Working Group for all the painstaking efforts under the leadership of our former Administrative Director, Angelina V. Manga, who also happens to be the chair of the NEPIO HR TWG. We also thank the members of the other technical working groups in the DOE, and of course, our counterparts in the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute for successfully completing this project and are being able to hurdle all the odds that came along the way. Thank you very much and congratulations to everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Cecil, for giving a great overview on the project. I am sure that the prepared booklets, videos, and modules will increase the knowledge of our high school students on how nuclear energy can help improve the lives of Filipinos and will also help improve the youth's perception on nuclear energy. This project would not have been possible without the support of the Department of Energy. We will now hear a presentation from none other than the project leader, Dr. Jasmine A. Albelda. Dr. Albelda will also answer some questions after her presentation. So if you have any questions, You may input them as a question in the Q&A box here in Zoom or as a comment on the Facebook live stream. The project team will take note of your questions and we will try to answer as many questions as we can. Now, let us give a warm welcome and a virtual round of applause to Dr. Jasmine Albelda, Senior Science Research Specialist of the Nuclear Training Center from DOST Philippine Nuclear Research Institute.
Okay. Good morning po, everyone. Can you hear me okay? And is my slide going up nicely in your screens?
Yes, Miss Jas.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. So muli po, magandang umaga sa ating lahat. And thank you for joining us here through this virtual launching of our resource materials. So I am very happy to finally share with you today these resource materials, which we have been which we have developed for many years now. So on the outset, I would like to first say thank you for everyone who made this project possible. Our funding agency, the Department of Energy, and our counterpart team from the DOE NEPIO Technical Working Group on Human Resource, led by former Director Angelina Manga and Ms. Cecil Baldos. Our partners in the Nuclear Science and Technology Education Program, the Department of Education, the Philippine Science High School, and the DOST Science Education Institute. So thank you for your support in this endeavor, especially po dun sa ating mga teachers, education supervisors, and education specialists who help us map the competencies in the K-12 curriculum where we could integrate NST. And they also wrote lesson exemplars and shared to us their experiences of doing NST-related activities. You have been an inspiration in the design of these resource materials. Also, I would like to thank the forerunners of this project, Ms. Rodora Leonin and Ms. Justinia Cerbolias. They already retired from PNRIs. As Secretary De La Peña mentioned, yung pilot project po wherein a school volunteered to become the pilot school for nuclear science and technology. It was Ma'am Leonin and Ma'am Tina, Ma'am Rhoda and Ma'am Tina, as we call them at PNRI, who have been the forerunners for such activities, which also paved the way to a lot of other activities in education on nuclear science and technology. And also, yung project team consisting of our writers, evaluators, editors, script writers, animators, web designers, and teacher contributors. You would not have been able to complete these outputs without you. So, ano ba itong mga outputs na ito? So, for this DOE-funded project, we have the 10 booklets and videos covering a range of topics in NST, and 5 modules for use in a DOST-STII Science Explorer bus. So yung isi-share po namin sa inyo ngayong umaga ay itong 10 booklets and videos. Yung 5 modules po, they will only be accessible dun sa DOST-STII Science Explorer bus, although because of the pandemic, ay medyo suspended po yung ating operation ng Science Explorer bus. Now, why this? You might be asking, bakit ito yung ating ginawang additional support for nuclear science and technology education program. Let me just do a little backstory for that, because more than the mentioned aims of filling a gap in human resource development and increasing public awareness and understanding of nuclear science and technology, we believe that we are offering a solution to the challenges that we identified and the lessons that we learned from the implementation of our various education and outreach activities since 2012, especially during the pilot of the project on educating secondary students to nuclear science and technology. These challenges include constraints in the K-12 curriculum. So as our teachers might have been very aware, yun pong competencies natin ng nuclear science and technology ay nasa isang subject lang po na nasa grade 12, STEM, strand, physics lang siya. So yun pong ating mga students ng grades 9 to 10 or 6 to 7, they were not exposed to some of this information. So those are constraints in the curriculum, which cascades into another problem or another challenge. Because even if we have teachers who are willing to teach our students on nuclear science and technology, but because of the constraints in the curriculum, they will have little support from school officials as well. And even then, if kahit na konti lang yung support ng school, the teachers are still willing to teach nuclear science and technology based on their feedback from the many training courses that we had with them. Ang lagi nilang sinasabi ay, pagbalik po namin sa aming school ay wala po kaming available na material at wala din po kaming available na learning resources. And so we really hope that with the availability of these resource materials that we have just developed, we are able to answer a need and perhaps somehow lessen some of the heavy work of our teachers. So the resources we designed have you in mind, okay? So we designed them so that they have connections to competencies in the K-12 curriculum. So hindi po ito replacement ng inyo pong lessons, but rather a supplement to your teaching. So again, pinapasalamatan po namin Department of Education sa kanila pong help sa aming team to identify these competencies kung saan pwede natin i-integrate yung mga topics ng nuclear science and technology. And also, the Bureau of Curriculum ng Department of Education for welcoming some changes in the curriculum ng special science classes wherein meron na pong additional na competencies related to nuclear science and technology. Another salient feature of the resource materials they have developed is that it cuts across subject areas and grade levels. So biology teachers, physics teachers, earth science teachers, even art and history, they can use some of these booklets to teach a lesson in their classrooms. They are also contextualized in the Philippine setting, and they can be used by teachers in any of the 7 E's ng inyo pong part ng lesson plan. So, wala po kaming binigay sa booklets ng specific na paraan kung paano nyo po siya gagamitin sa inyong classrooms. We believe that mas kayo po ang nakakaalam kung ano po yung effective na method ng pagtuturo ng lesson sa inyong classes. So, you have the freedom to choose whether to use the booklets or the videos in the list part of your lesson plan, in the engage part, in the explore, explain, elaborate, extend, or in the evaluation part of your lesson plans. The booklets and the videos complement each other. So, yun pong hindi na encompass ng video, nasa booklet po doon yung depth ng content. So, there are 10 videos and 10 booklets for these resources. And we name them as Nuclear 101 series. So yung first one, the booklet, it's entitled Radiation Around Us. Second one is about describing radiation. The third one is on ionizing radiation. The fourth is on careers. And 5 to 10 is on the different applications of nuclear science in various areas or industries. So I will just go over quickly kung ano po yung pwede ninyong paggamitan nitong mga booklets and videos na ito. So yung first 3, the Radiation Around Us booklet, Describing Radiation booklet, at saka yung Ionizing Radiation booklet. These are the booklets that lays down the basics of nuclear science. So it answers questions like what's radiation, saan galing yung radiation, paano siya na-detect, paano siya mag-interact with matter, ano yung response ng cells natin kapag nagkaroon ng radiation damage, at kung paano natin mapoprotektahan yung mga sarili natin from the effects of radiation. So these are some of these questions na ma-answer ng booklets na to. Each of these booklets are complemented by one animated video. Yung Namang sa Careers in Nuclear Science and Technology na booklet, they present career pathways for our students. And in this booklet, we highlight careers like nuclear medicine physicians, non-destructive testing inspectors and technicians, medical or health physicists, nuclear engineers, science research specialists, and also career scientists. So if you know someone in your school like that is heading your career fairs, maybe they can use this booklet also as one of a supplementary material when they do career fairs and career orientations to students. Okay. The fifth one, the nuclear science and the environment, dito naman hina-highlight namin yung nuclear analytical techniques na ginagamit sa mga studies ng environment, climate change, and archaeological studies. So we have techniques here like X-ray fluorescence, meron din tayong isotopic techniques sa water cycle, we have radiometric dating, at saka yung mass spectrometers na ginagamit, nuclear technique na ginagamit para malaman din natin at mapag-aralan ang global warming. So again, these are cross-cutting topics you can use in any part of your lesson or any other subject areas. Okay, for the sixth booklet and video, we have the industrial applications. So sa industrial applications na naman booklet, our learners will learn about modification of materials, food irradiation, radiation sterilization, and even environmental conservation. For medical applications, we focused on radionuclides in medicine. So yung history nila, paano sila napoproduce. So if you are a physics teacher and you are teaching, let's say, electricity and magnetism, and you came across with electric fields and magnetic fields and cyclotrons, then maybe this booklet can be one of the supplementary materials that you can use in your classes. So radionuclides also for diagnosis and treatment of various diseases. So if I am not mistaken, we have a competency in one area of science in grade 7 about how we take care of ourselves so to prevent or treat diseases. So maybe you can also use this booklet in that area. The eighth booklet is on agriculture. So sa agriculture naman, nandito yung plant mutation breeding, nutrient management in plants, and soil erosion assessment and mitigation. So mga biology teachers natin, I think they will also benefit a lot from this particular booklet. And then we have the booklet for nuclear science and energy on all about nuclear power. So in this booklet, ito po yung pinakamahaba namin na booklet, by the way, kasi medyo madami po siyang sinakop. Yung halos buong area ng nuclear power ay isinama po namin doon sa design. So paano nag-generate ng electricity, nuclear fuel cycle is also there, radioactive waste management, paano yung ginagawa, and safety features ng nuclear power plant. So if you would notice here, if hopefully okay, so hindi na ako magpo-poll. Tatanong ko kasi sana kung ilan dito sa ating audience yung grade 9 teacher, nagtuturo ng science sa grade 9. So kung matatandaan niyo po siguro, ang isa sa competency doon sa grade 9 ay tungkol sa generation ng electricity. And that's the only time, by the way, that the word nuclear was mentioned in the science curriculum for grades 7 to 10. Okay, so perhaps in that case, you can use this booklet as well. Now, because this booklet is quite long, siya po yung merong dalawang complementary na animated video. Such that, yun pong ating last na booklet, the booklet on emergencies, nuclear science and disaster preparedness, how to prepare for emergencies, ay wala po siyang associated na video at the moment. Okay, so gagawan pa po namin yan at another time and probably another source of funding. So in this 10th booklet, nandyan po yung environmental radioactivity monitoring, what to do in case of a wide-scale radiation emergency, and how the national government may respond to radiation emergencies. So for those of you who are teaching DRRM subjects, then probably this particular booklet can be of great help para po sa inyong classes. While in other areas, maybe you can use environmental radioactivity monitoring as well for other subject areas. Okay, so paano kayo makakapag-access nitong mga booklets and videos na ito? Okay, madali lang po yan. First is to log on to pnri.dost.gov.ph, and after which, hanapin niyo po yung icon ng Education Resources. Click on that, and once you click on this Education Resource icon, it will bring you to our resource material homepage. Okay, so meron po kayong dalawang choice dito. You can click the Nuclear 101 series just right here below this information on NSTEP Plus, or you can click here resource material and then just click Nuclear 101. So once you click Nuclear 101, it will lead you to the page on the Nuclear 101 series booklets and videos. So you just choose kung ano yung booklet or video or a topic na nagustuhan po ninyo. By the way po, yung mga numbers, they are not exact except for booklet 1, 2, 3. The rest po ay hindi naman po siya kailangang nakasequential yung paggamit ng booklet. Okay, except for 1, 2, and 3. We would recommend that 1, 2, and 3 would be used sequentially. Kasi these are foundations, basics ng nuclear science and technology. Okay, so once you click resource, it will bring you to this dialog box right here, and you will see a short description of the resource, the video here, and booklets. So if you don't want to download anything, you can just read the booklet online. So especially yung ating mga students na medyo technology savvy, ayaw nila ng download. So you can use this one as a venue para sa kanilang pagbabasa. And you have 3 download options. The first one is to download the booklet with the video file. So ito po ay medyo malaking file. So we would recommend na gawin nyo lang ito kapag medyo mabilis yung inyong internet connection. Okay? And kung okay pa po yung inyong data. Kasi medyo malaki po yung file. So it will take some time. Okay, para ma-download po siya. The other option is to download the booklet and the video links from YouTube. So you can share to your students the booklet and just the video link, and then the students will be the one to log onto the internet and click on the video in YouTube using these video links. Or you can just simply download just the booklet and then direct your students to this website for the videos, or even for in YouTube as well. So pwede nyo pong gawin yan. So as I have mentioned a while ago, yun pong nuclear science and energy namin na booklet at videos, dalawa po yan. So mas malaki po yung file kapag ang download option po na inyong pipiliin ay yung booklet at saka yung video file mismo. So that might take some time. And para hindi lang po kayo magulat, yung pang-10 po na booklet on nuclear science and disaster preparedness, you will see that because it doesn't have yet a video associated with it, the video is not available. So your only option here can be to download the booklet. Okay. However, we would recommend that booklets 9 and 10 and the videos for booklet 9, they actually complement each other, because in booklet 9 we talk about the safety features of a nuclear power plant, and here in booklet number 10 we talk about nuclear science and how to prepare in such a case that there is an emergency in that case. Okay? Kasi kahit wala tayong nuclear power plant sa Pilipinas, yun pong ating mga neighbors ay meron pong nuclear power plant. And lahat po ay connected, so if something bad happens in their nuclear power plants, we might be affected with that one. Okay, now if you need hard copies of these booklets and also a copy of the videos in electronic form, you can place it in a flash drive or a complete electronic file of the booklets and the flash drive and the videos in a flash drive, all you need to do is request it. So in the same website, just click contact us and then write your full name, your email, and then your message to us. Okay, so just let us know how many of the booklets you need, and or if you need the flash drive for that matter. So just send us a message through this link right here. If you have other concerns, like for instance, ay kailangan nyo po ng virtual classroom visits, kailangan nyo po ng, let's say, a researcher from PNRI to be invited to your classroom, then you can also send us a message here. Or maybe you wanted to know something about how we can help you with a research in your research class, for example, for your research students. So you can also contact us here through this link in the website. Okay, and please stay tuned for more activities. This is just the beginning. So we're very happy na finally yung first step, okay, para ma-share namin yung mga resources is already here. So stay tuned for more activities that we will be adding into this website as well. And also, please send us your feedback because we would love to hear from you. Saludo po kami talaga sa mga teacher partners natin. You are our most influential partners. Okay, so kayo po yung kaharap ng ating mga students and kayo po yung directly na makaka-influence sa kanila on a lot of things, including choosing a career. So please send us the feedback on the resource materials, how we can improve them, because we haven't tested this yet in the classrooms. Okay, so hopefully we can have a story from you about how you use these resource materials in your classrooms at kung siya ba ay effective at kung ano po ang area na pwede nating ma-improve for that matter. So before niyo po ma-download yung mga resources na gusto ninyo, meron lang po kami doong short survey ng we just want to know your name, your email address, so we can contact you later on you can contact us later on if you need any more help on the booklets, and if you have some feedback that you would like to give to us for that matter. Okay, so we are a work in progress po. So hindi po ito final. So we still have room for improvement, and we are still planning to do additional resources for our teachers to use na sana ay magamit talaga nila sa kanilang classrooms. So at this point, probably we can now entertain some questions. Una.
Okay, hi Ate Jazz. So we have a
So
few
I'll start
questions.
sharing, okay?
Yes po. Okay. So we have a few questions on our Zoom and Facebook Live. So I'll start first with one question in our Q&A here in Zoom from anonymous attendee. How can we get the booklets or materials? Is it available online? And for all po ba ito? Not just for science schools. Thank you.
Yes po. This is for all. This is available online as I have shown you. So probably, hopefully, magiging okay yung aking internet. So let me just share. Kasi pictures lang yung pinakita ko kanina eh. So let's say, okay, is my screen going up nicely? Una?
Yes po.
Okay, all right. So here's the, let me just take out this. All right. Okay, so here's the website of PNRI, the homepage of PNRI. So all you need to do is look into this area right here, and you have the education resources. So just click this, and then it will bring you to our resource materials webpage. So in this resource material, you can just, webpage, we can just click Nuclear 101 booklet here, or you can choose resource materials here and then click Nuclear 101, and then you will have the list of these booklets and videos. So once you click on this one, so again, pwede mo siyang i-download. So no restrictions. Kung sino magda-download, but we would want to know kung sino po yung nagda-download ng mga materials. So before you can download them, you have a short survey on who you are, anong region ikaw, anong email address mo, and then reason for downloading the resource material. So if it's just for personal consumption, you can just write here for personal use, or maybe you want to use it in your classroom, so you can just write for classroom use. And then you submit the survey, and then you have downloaded the material. So it's for all po. It's not just for science high schools. It's not just for special science classes, but it's for everyone po. I hope I answered that question.
Thank you, Dr. Jazz. In relation to that question, we have a question from our Facebook live stream.
Okay.
Is it necessary to register in the website to access the material resources?
If you just want to read and view the videos online, then there's no need for registration. Right? But if you do want to download them, then that's the time that we ask for the short survey and ask for some of your information. So yeah.
Okay, thank you,
Hopefully
Doc
that answers.
Jazz. Yeah, thank you, Doc Jazz. Okay, we have another question from our Zoom live, from our Zoom Q&A rather. Is the hard copy and the video copy in USB form, does it have a cost? Um, Doc Jazz, are you still there? Okay, we are experiencing a bit of technical difficulties right now. Sorry, guys. Let us just wait for Dr.
What
Jazz.
happened?
Yeah, I think
what has just happened? Okay. Anong nangyari? I was suddenly dropped. Okay, but anyway,
Yeah.
I'm already online. So, okay, what was the question again? I think it was about a hard copy and a video copy in USB.
Yes
Okay.
po, Ate Jazz. Does it have a cost daw po?
Wala naman po. It's free. So you just request for the hard copy and the video copy of in USB, and then we send it to you. So when you request, please be specific, like how many of the booklets you need in your classroom, and make sure that your address is also correct and your name is also correct, so that the material can reach you in a timely and correct manner as well.
Okay, thank you po. I think there is a related question to that. Is it okay if we reproduce all these booklets into a hard copy?
Yes po. Pwede niyo po siyang i-reproduce into a hard copy, so long as hindi niyo po siya ibibenta. Okay, so it's all free. So if you do reproduce them, please don't sell them. Okay po.
Okay po. Tapos about the hard copy sa mga booklets, what is the maximum number of copies na pwede po i-request?
Okay. All right, I think I'm having a connection problem. Okay, so the question was about the maximum number of copies na pwedeng i-request?
Yes po.
Okay. Sa ngayon po, we have 1,000 sets of the booklets available. So we are not planning actually to have, a maximum number. So, but a reasonable number would be probably, we would like to request na reasonable naman yung number na i-request para madali po naming ma-send po sa inyo. So wala naman po siyang maximum number of copies na pwedeng i-request. But at the moment po, we have 1,000 sets of all the booklets. Okay. Although pala, I just want to mention, yun pong hard copies na available na meron kami ngayon, are in black and white. Okay. Kasi medyo limited po na konti yung aming resource at the moment. Okay, so maybe in the near future we can have copies of the colored one. Okay. Okay, so I hope I answered that question.
Yes po. And we have another question. Can we use these materials for action research? Rest assured that it is properly cited.
Opo. We would like that very much. Na siya po ay magamit for any and
yeah. So Miss Jess, naghang po kayo a bit there. Pero yes po, the answer is you can use it for your action research, and we would very much appreciate it if you do use it.
Okay. Salamat po.
Okay, ma'am. We also have a question from our Facebook Live, I think, or from our Zoom chat. What are classroom kits daw po?
Okay, classroom kits. So as I have mentioned in our reason why we created these resources, yun nga po, we wanted to answer one of your needs on limited resources. So yung classroom kits po ay these are kits na pwede nyo pong hiramin from PNRI when you want to do experiments and hands-on activities in your classes. Okay, sa klase niyo po. So, at the moment, siya po ay hindi available dahil sa pandemic. So, we cannot entertain any request for that one. But maybe, pag okay na po yung face-to-face, then pwede na po kayong mag-request ng classroom kits. So, probably I'll just share kung ano yung classroom kits na yun. Okay, so, we have tested this already to some schools na nanghiram na nitong mga gamit na ito, and then they use it in their classes. So, wait lang ha, hanapin ko lang yung file. Okay, so, right. Okay, and I will just share this file. Patience.
No worries,
Okay,
Ma'am Jazz. It's not a
po.
problem.
Okay. All right. So these are the classroom kits. Okay, so let me just share this to you. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes po.
Okay, so yung classroom kits po, they are designed if you want to do some experiments, nuclear science and technology related experiments and hands-on activities in your classrooms. So sa loob po ng kit na to, we have the cloud chamber kits, some survey meters to detect gamma and X-rays, and then some naturally occurring radioactive materials. And we have some suggested experiments and classroom activities as well in the accompanying teacher's guide for that kit. So ayun po. So if you have attended in any of our training courses at PNRI, you might be familiar with some of these kits already that you can use in your classrooms. If you have not been to one, then don't worry po. Kasi when you request this, at the moment we are developing video guides as well and additional teacher's guide for this purpose. Ayan po. So ito po yung pwede ninyong hiramin sa PNRI. Kapag okay na po yung ating face-to-face na activity. Ayan.
Okay, so we also have a question in relation to the classroom kits. Safe lang po gamitin yung materials na nasa classroom kits, ma'am, di ba? Like the radioactive materials?
Yes po. They are naturally occurring radioactive materials, so they have very low activity, so they don't pose any problems at all. And at the same time po, when you request, we also look into whether or not you had some training on how to handle the radioactive materials. So if you don't have an experience in handling the radioactive materials, then we also give you training on that area. Ayan po, para safe po ang lahat. Kasi kahit maliit din lang po yun, yes, dahil sa word na radioactive siya, so baka mamaya ay matakot naman ang lahat na hawakan yun or i-handle yun. Ayan po. So we will guide you, and we'll also teach you how to handle these different radioactive materials. Ayan po.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jazz. Indeed, very important din ang radiation safety kahit, but
Kahit
you know,
maliit lang yun.
kahit maliit lang yun.
Opo.
Okay, so I think this is the last question. From Sir Joseph Hortezuela, are we going to have PNSQ this year? Baka po masagot niyo, Ma'am Jazz.
Okay.
But this other question is, ano po, are there other sites for virtual labs in nuclear science?
Yes po, meron pong mga virtual labs available in nuclear science. So if you need information on this one, contact us page. So we can share you the links. And also in the booklets, we also have some recommendations there on, although they are not virtual labs, but there is one there on radiometric dating. I think it's a PET simulation. So we have a link there, and at the same time, apps that are related to nuclear science. We also recommended some of them within the booklets, so you can find some of them there. Okay, but other virtual labs na you might be needing that is not there in the booklets, then shoot us a message. Okay, and we would gladly find some time to help you with that one. Okay.
About PNSQ, ma'am, baka may masasagot po kayo.
Wala po, kasi hindi po ako yung mag-decide ng PNSQ po. Ganun. Okay, so I'm not sure if we will have one this year. Okay, last year it was definitely suspended because it's difficult to have it online. So this year, we don't know yet.
So for PNSQ po, if you're interested, just watch out for any announcements on the PNRI Facebook page, just in case we will have it this year. And then I think may humabol pa na question. Ma'am, how can we reach you po about the booklets? For any questions about the booklets?
You just send us a message in the contact us page. Right? So and just type your messages there. They also reach my inbox. Although other people are answering also your questions and queries there, but they also reach into my inbox, so I also read them from time to time.
Okay, ma'am, just last na question na ito.
Okay.
Can we look forward for instructional materials like this to be made for elementary students as well? Thank you po.
For elementary students, that would be a challenge. That would be a challenge, but we would take note of that one po. Because one of the outreach activities na ginawa ng Quezon City was a combination of an elementary student and a high school student in a nuclear science and technology education class. So in that outreach activity, we are able to find na pwedeng ma-introduce yung nuclear science in the elementary level, but we're gonna need a lot of help from our elementary teachers for that case. Kasi po, as technical people, yung alam po naming lingwahe ay yung mataas ng konti, at sometimes you don't know how to lower it into a language na pwede pong maintindihan ng elementary students. So if we will embark on this project in the near future, then we're gonna be needing a lot of help from elementary teachers for that matter. We are not closing our doors on that one, but we just need help. para po siya ma-create into a reality. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jazz. I think that is all the time that we have for questions. So if you have additional questions about the resource materials, the booklets, or anything about the NSTEP Plus program, you can just click on the Contact Us part of the website. So thank you, Dr. Jazz, for that insightful presentation and for answering all the questions. Indeed, the project team has worked very hard in the preparation of the education resource materials, and we are so happy to see that these will now be made available for everyone to download. Okay, so before we end the program, here are some reminders from the project team. These reminders will also be flashed on screen later on. So to access the resource materials and to learn more about the project and the NSTEP program, go to the DOST-PNRI website, www.pnri.dost.gov.ph. Click on the Education Resources tab on the left side, which will direct you to the NSTEP Plus website. So from there, you can click the resources button on the upper right and click Nuclear 101 to download the free digital education resources that have been designed to help you explain a range of important concepts in nuclear science and technology. For any further inquiries, you can always message them or reach the project team through the Contact Us button. And finally, to claim an e-certificate for this event, you will need to answer the online evaluation form. The link to the online evaluation form is bit.ly/vlaunch e-form in capital letters. The link is currently being flashed on your screens right now, so please take this time to screenshot or copy the link. So again, that's bit.ly/capital V, capital L, capital A, capital U, capital N, capital C, capital H, capital E, capital F, capital O, capital R, and capital M. So please make sure to answer the online evaluation form within the day, and the project team will send the e-certificates to your emails within 10 working days. And that concludes this morning's virtual launch. Don't forget to like the DOST Philippine Nuclear Research Institute Facebook page to be updated on the latest news on nuclear SNT. Again, I am Una Neri, and on behalf of the project team, we would like to thank everyone who joined us in today's virtual launch via Zoom and Facebook Live. A pleasant morning to everyone and have a great day ahead. Stay safe. Bye!
Salamat po ulit.